Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Happy Thursday to all of you. Hope it's an amazing one for you. And if not, perhaps it will be. The day has just started. Yana Kasperczak, your spiritual awakening core energy coach. And my soul's purpose is to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison that you find yourself in and live the life that you are proud of and are excited to wake up to every single day, even if you're feeling tired and groggy or under the weather, as I am feeling that today. And this was the topic that came to mind yesterday as I was listening to a podcast, and I wanted to talk about it. And in different ways, this is one of the topics that I had been asked to cover as well, from many of you in this group. The effects that we have, that our mood, our bad mood, or our darkness, and what I mean by darkness is our sadness, our grief, our depression, what that has, the effect that it has on people around us. So the first thing that I want to say is that more people than not don't actually know how to respond to your quote unquote darkness, to what you're going through, what you're dealing with, because they just don't know how to. They don't, it's almost like, how comfortable do you feel if or when someone is crying, whether you know them well or you don't know them well? How do you feel when they are crying? How does that trigger you on the inside? Insecurities is the first word that comes to mind, is that their tears can make us feel insecure in a way of, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake and make it worse. So I will instead hide from you or avoid you or just not say anything because I don't want to say the wrong thing and make it worse for you or for me. So the same concept applies to when you are going through a dark time and people around you, as much as they love you and as much as they know you, they still don't know how to help you. They feel helpless themselves. So when I was going through my really dark time, and I would say I was severely depressed, where I did not know if today was going to be the day that I would be taken, so to speak. And actually what triggered this topic is in one of the coaching groups that I am in, and I'm participating in this group. I haven't been participating too much, but I'm not going to go into too much of the story in the background. But one of the ladies who was part of this community, part of the coaching calls that we were on, the group coaching calls that we were on, she you could see and hear her progress with her business, with herself, but mostly with her business. She had people working for her. She had what many would say a successful coaching practice. And without going into details, because the details are just details, they don't truly matter. I know to some people they do, but at the end of the day, the details are just stories. And yes, we do learn from stories, but we don't need to get stuck on the story, because that's what often does end up happening, is we get so focused and so stuck on the story that we miss the bigger picture. So the bigger picture is this: what we see on the outside, how a person is and how they're doing and everything, is more often than not a facade. It is a mask. It is who they're trying to be, but not who they are. And more people than not will hide their darkness, will hide what they're going through because they don't want to be a burden. So this lady actually ended up taking her own life just about a week and a half ago. The last time she was online was December 4th. So this is really what triggered this, is that when I was going through my dark time, I can't even begin to count how many times I've considered something like that, but the guilt is what kept me here. And I'm glad that there's such a powerful tool as guilt that has made me feel guilty enough to continue going and working and going forward and overcoming everything and being here for my family and doing everything I could for them, which in return was an incredible gift for me. But I also at some point learned that I needed to do things for myself and not for others. And when that switch happened, this is where I really started to own myself and discover who I am and living in my authentic self as much as I possibly could. And I continue to do that more and more and more and more each day. So when I was going through this time, my husband, as much as he tried to help, often it did the opposite. And I recognize now it's because there is not knowing what to do and trying to help and not knowing how to help. And as helpful as he was trying to be, it was making things worse for me. And I didn't even know how to express that because I wasn't even understanding why him helping was making it worse. And it's because, like I said, not knowing how, and at the same time for me, partially I knew what my darkness was causing, but at the same time I didn't understand the full extent. And sometimes, not sometimes, in order for us to understand, we need to get past it and reflect back. So meaning get through the day and reflect on the day, or through the couple of days or a week, and reflect on it and understand not just yourself, but the effect that you have on other people as well. So here's how I'll explain it. I was going through my computer and cleaning up the sheer amount of images that I have on my computer, and there was one image that really, really stood out to me. I want to see if I can actually share it right here in the comments so you ladies can also see. And even though this image is a positive image, it can be turned around the other way from the dark side of it. Okay, so sticker, emoji, and avatar sticker. No, I can't send an image. Okay, well, regardless, I'll maybe send it. Maybe I can do it through my computer. I'll figure out, and maybe I'll end up making a post out of that. But the image was this. Where did it go? I just had it open so that way I can explain it as I look at it and share. Basically, you can feel the power of this image. So this image is about, this is how your light changes the world. You see this one person, animated character, all yellow, the whole entire body is yellow, walking into a crowd of people, and they're all gray. They're all experiencing darkness. They're all dark. And this one light that comes in, and you can slowly see how the people beside this one individual, half of them starts to turn yellow, and all of them have, initially the gray people have the dark faces on them, meaning you can see anger, you can see sadness, you can see jealousy, you can see negative catabolic emotions express themselves through their body. Even some of them like closed like this, right? Where, no, I'm not going to be part of that. And little by little, the light starts to spread into these bodies without them doing anything, them just standing there. Now, if it was the other way around, this is why I want to use this image, is that sometimes our darkness is that powerful that when we are spending time with our loved ones, and or those people that, even our friends, our family, or even strangers, that we can sense their mood and we can feel that mood, and in the end, who wins? The one that wins is the one that is screaming the loudest. Meaning, is it the happiness that's screaming the loudest, or is it the sadness that's screaming the loudest? And it also, is it resonating with you or with those people around you? And you as an empath, you understand energy, how energy transfers. You've been to spaces, you've been to rooms where, or parties where either you walked in and you felt dark, or somebody else walked in and you could instantly feel the darkness, or the opposite, you could feel that light and you can feel the joy, and you would naturally migrate to those who resonate with your energy. So let me close this so I can make sure that I see the comments, because I see Rebecca's on here. Kimberly, hello ladies, how are you doing? Rebecca says, oh, Debbie's on here as well. Good morning, Debbie. And Rebecca said, my partner thinks I'm being dramatic when I cry. Belittling and labeling is not okay. I feel like one great tool with this one might be having like a swear jar, in a way, where instead of a swear, every time you label someone and you try to tell them who you think they are, they need to put some money in the jar and they don't get to spend it. Yeah, because this is not okay, but it is also coming from a place of how did his parents help him and support him when he was young and he was hurt physically, mentally, or emotionally. When he was hurt as a child, how did they help him to deal with it and face it and overcome it and heal the pain that he was feeling and experiencing? That is often how now, as an adult, they express themselves and try to help you through it, because this is the only way they know how. Literally, it's the only way they know how, because we become the programs of our experiences, and what our experiences and how they're translated and understood by us. Kimberly says, I'm doing a label jar. Yeah, label jar. And then the label could be labeled with quotes, so that way, it's like the actual label and not, how you put a label on the actual jar. So, helping our partners and ourselves, because we can't really help them much. We can't change them, but what we could do is we can do that for ourselves and change how we respond, change how we react, change how we communicate, and show them how it's done. Help them to understand that there's a different way. And that means recognizing when your partner or your friend or your family member, when they're going through a dark time, and respond to it how you would want them to respond to you. Acknowledging, validating, supporting, not holding hand, not babying. That's different. There's no micromanaging. There's no helicoptering either. It's situational. Each and every time we respond, it is situational. But the key ways would be, I hear you, I understand you, and expressing that through our actions, because actions speak louder than words. You can say you love someone, but if you don't feel bad when they're hurting, then that's not love. If you don't feel guilt or shame when they're hurting and you were the cause of their hurt, then you don't love that person. because you would not want to hurt anyone you love, but your actions will speak louder than words. So showing how you love them, expressing that to them. If listening to what they're saying, just like you teaching them to listen to you or what you're saying, sometimes you do need to speak up and let them know, please take a moment and think about what I'm saying, what I'm going through, without incorporating yourself and your feelings and emotions. See me for me without you being part of that equation. Let me see. Same, guilt is what keeps me going. That's what Rebecca said too when I was talking about feeling guilty. And, still being here because I felt extremely guilty for even thinking and considering not being here. And it really hurt me even more for thinking that, and for being selfish in a way, that it should never be our go-to when we're going through a hard time. The go-to that I have learned that is life transforming is, what is one of my needs right now that is not being met? And how can I meet it? Not somebody else in my life, but how can I meet that need for me and take care of me right now? Sometimes it is, I feel like I need to do my nails, and I will go and I will do my nails. I don't go and get my nails done. I do my nails myself. Or sometimes it might be, I need to take a bath right now because it feels like it is a need to take a bath right now. And I know some of you have small children. With small children, this is where making sure that they give you that space as well, and that your partner is there to help. Partnership is equality in there, meaning that you're not solely responsible for your offsprings, that they are also responsible, and that when you need the help and you want the time for yourself to take that bath in peace and quiet, that they need to respect your needs right now and give that to you. And sometimes we got to be very clear on what that means. And more often than not, actually, we do need to be very, very clear what that means, and speak to them in a way as if they're 5 years old, but not in that tone as you would with a 5-year-old, without being, condescending or belittling or anything like that. Just simply saying, depending on what you call them, honey, sweetheart, if you want to start off that way, but clearly asking and stating, you're not asking for permission, you're letting them know, I'm going to take a bath right now because I feel like it is something that I need, and I would like you to watch this child or both kids, and please make sure that they do not come and interrupt me, because I really need this time so I can be fully available to them, for you as well, to all of you guys, because I need that time to recharge and reboot myself. Very clearly letting him know or her know that this is what you need and how you want that to play out. So they give you that space to just be, and let them know how long you're going to be as well, so they have an estimate. And at the same time, like, knowing that some of us, we are very time oriented, meaning that if you say you're going to be half an hour, that if you are past 30 minutes and you're 31 minutes, they're going to get irritated, because now they start to feel like you have lied to them, you're taking advantage of them, even though that is not exactly what's happening. But this is what happens in this creative mind of ours, that they start to feel like you don't respect me and my time, that you said 30 minutes and now it's not 30 minutes. Understanding your partner is important. So that way you say 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And then within that time, you want to also be respectful to them and to yourself. So that's one thing I would add to that. Let me see. So let's talk about the impact on other people around you when you are in your dark state. Since emotion transfers and emotional atmosphere, the mood that you're in, it influences overall emotional environment, not just of you, but of your kids, your pets, your partners, and even as far as your neighbors in the neighborhood, which also means reverse engineering this. That if you're feeling a certain way and you're not sure why, and you can't think of the reason why you're feeling that way, then perhaps reverse engineering that it could be someone in your household or outside of your household. And when you become aware that this is not your dark energy, that it's somebody else's, send it back to them, give it back to them. Trust that they got everything that they need in order for them to overcome it and heal and own that energy. Because to me, it feels no different than doing homework for my kids. And if you do homework for your kids, please don't. I know you guys are not doing that, but if you are, don't do homework for your kids, because you're taking education away from them, which in a way it is also referred to as helicopter parenting. And the end result will be that your kid or kids will be less likely to be able to go off on their own, because they won't feel empowerment that they would get if they did that work all on their own, and they overcome the problem without anyone else interfering, and they would feel amazing and great. So your mood, see if it's yours or not yours, and then send it back if not. And also what can happen is that it can create tension or discomfort around you, in those people or in you, right? If you're feeling the darkness and you know why, at least the gist of it, you might not know exactly why until you sit down and work on that, but it's still going to transfer onto your kids and onto your partner and onto your pets. All of us are energetic beings. We feel energy, whether we're aware of it or not. And then, like I said, in your neighborhood as well. Another impact on others, I have 5 of them here, is the second one is it creates communication barriers, where not knowing how to communicate, how to deal with it, how to help you, or for you how to help them. And others might feel hesitant to engage or communicate openly if they sense your emotional state, because like I mentioned earlier, they might not know how, or it just feels like a foreign object in their body, and they don't know what to do with it and how to respond with it, because if you can't see it. When you can't see something, you can't understand it, and you can't see something that's inside of someone else, especially if they're the ones that are unable to see and understand it themselves. The third one is it creates a strain on the relationship. And relationship is not limited to you, to the intimate one, to you and your partner. Relationship that you have with anyone and everyone. That connection. And experiencing continuous negativity will emotionally stain and drain a relationship. Affects intimacy and causing misunderstandings. And another way how it actually affects intimacy is the sex drive is gone. It's not there. And eventually it might lead to feeling repulsed by the other person or with the other person. Number 4, energy drain. Your mood may impact others' energy levels, causing emotional exhaustion or drain their positivity. And I'm sure you've experienced that. When you were in a great mood and you felt awesome and great, that somebody else came in and they were in a foul mood, and the way that they were expressing themselves, it took all of the positivity that you had out of you, and all of a sudden it's like, what the hell? I did all this work to end up in this place again where I'm at ground zero, or even ground -10, where you feel worse than you did in the beginning of you putting in the work and the effort on being positive and staying positive, for somebody else to come in and affect you so profoundly that you feel drained. Now, there's quite a few things entailed in that. Number one is, what lesson is there or in this for you? And how can you not allow that? Because this happens unconsciously, but when you become conscious of it, how can you, the conscious you, not allow that to take over next time around, or next times around? Because it's going to happen again. And all the things that you're going through are there to help you master yourself. And one of the biggest things about self-mastery is you being in control of your energetic state, and in a way putting up your armor when you need to put that armor on to protect yourself and allow others to deal with what they're dealing with, but at the same time being there to help them without them and their energy going into you, and vice versa. But you can only focus on yourself and work on yourself. You can't do anything for others. That's something that each and every one of us needs to do individually. And number 5 is decreased engagement, where they're not even going to want to engage with you. I know that when I recognize that someone is being negative or someone is negativity, I simply will not spend my time near them or with them, because it's one of the ways that I can protect myself and make sure that I take care of myself and my needs, so I can be fully available when they're ready. I can come in and help, engage a little bit, but not when it's at the highest peak, because when we are at the highest peak, any one of us, we have the thickest of the walls around us, and nothing can go in there, because we are in that swamp and we're drowning. And you can throw life jackets, or you can throw one of those floatable devices, the ring of life or whatever it's called, but because you're there or they're there, they're not even going to want to grab onto it, because they're too stuck in that space, in that place, and they need a moment. Just like you, we all need a moment to stay there for as long as we need to, until we're ready to get out of there. So coming in and helping, not when they're emotionally or energetically charged, but when they've come down a little bit and they're more rational. Because we're in a heightened state, we're irrational. We're in the worst case scenario, which we all know, what is it? Not even 1% of that becomes true ever. Now, how can you, so what can you do about it? And I'll give you how many, I'll give you just 11 out of the thousands, 1,000 different ways of how you can overcome this and deal with your darkness, because we're just focusing on your darkness, and they can do their own work on their own. Open and honest communication. When you have come back to reality and you shook off a little bit of that darkness and you are more reasonable, have an open and honest conversation with yourself and with the other person or people. Let them in. That's one of the scariest things for all of us, is for those who love us to see us for who we are, because we fear of being judged, we fear of being prosecuted for who we are. And most importantly, the one that we're scared of the most is being rejected, being left alone with no one who cares about us or loves us. Now, my favorite question is, how true is that really? Or how true has it been in the past? How many people have actually left you when you were going through a hard time, when you were experiencing some darkness? Yes, they might have left you for a moment to just let you be and deal with it, but actually left you and never ever wanted to deal with you again. That's what we're scared of the most. So communicate honestly about your feelings when appropriate, allowing others to understand without feeling responsible to fix it. So you're just going to help them to understand what you're going through, what you're dealing with, what your triggers are as well, without making them feel like they are responsible for it. Even if they are, you can let them know what part they have played, but the goal is not to make them feel bad or guilty or unworthy as you are feeling. You're not trying to bring them down to your level. You're trying to help them understand more of who you are being right now, what you are uncovering about yourself and your program, your default program, so you can do and be better next time. And that they're not responsible to fix you, but only themselves. The second one is when you're feeling, I'll call this one, when you're feeling like you're getting close to that edge where they're getting about to cross the boundary. So letting them know that they're about to cross a boundary very clearly and from a place of love as much as you possibly can, without blaming or shaming them. And yeah, so you're gonna let them know that you're having a tough time or you're going through something right now, and let them know, for example, like I was saying, taking a bath, let them know that right now you need some time alone and set a boundary of, this is what I need right now. So that way the blowout is avoided. If you're feeling like you're getting close to burnout, don't wait until you're in burnout. Avoid it as much as possible. And that means allowing others, the word allowing is key here, allowing others to come in and help you. Because too many of you, and including myself, we feel bad when we either ask for help or allow others to help us, because we feel that it is our job. And that is at the core of being a good girl. Because good girls help with everything they can, and they don't accept much help because that is their job, to help and not be helped. Number 3, you gotta find support and go to that support fortress that you have. First, yourself. Second, the people in your life that either have been there, done that, or can help you with what you're going through, even just by letting you talk and express yourself without any judgment. So encourage open dialogue about situation, reassuring loved ones that you're seeking help and support to manage your emotions. Meaning that let them know that you're asking or getting help with this thing that you're dealing with, or these things that you're dealing with, so that way you will have your shit together, and then you will be fully available for them or to them. 4, make sure that when you are engaging and having a conversation, that you are mindful about it, and that you are aware of the words that you're using and your tone and your body language. And try to engage in in positive interactions, even when feeling low, to prevent distancing or isolation from loved ones. So, meaning, when you are feeling low and you're feeling drained, one of your go-to tools needs to be a place where you can go to, like this group, Heal the Unicorn Spiritual Awakening for Women, is one place. Whether it's the group or whether a specific stream of videos that is in this group, or there's a podcast that you like to listen to, whether it's one of the ones in the group or on the Spotify or whatever platform that you listen to podcasts, or even on YouTube. Have a place where you go to for motivation and inspiration to help you get out of your funk and your darkness, so it doesn't spread. So it doesn't spread like wildfire. 5, self-reflection and understanding is very important. And this means reflect on how your mood affects others. Understand how your being right now is affecting others around you. And by understanding that, you understand yourself more. We can see more of who we are through the eyes and experiences of other people if we take a moment and pause and pay attention. Everyone in our life is a mirror and reflection of who we're being, and at the same time who we are. Fostering understanding and empathy towards their responses, towards them, towards their experiences, as well as your own. Number 6, take the time to, like I mentioned earlier, let them know what you're going through. So you're going to take a moment to clarify what you're going through, what you're dealing with, and you want to apologize for your part. You're not going to apologize for their part, because that's not for you to apologize, but apologizing for your part and whatever has transpired, whatever has happened, whatever that you're, even if it's just you're in a foul mood and you don't fully know why, and you've done the figuring out of why. Like I said, maybe it's from outside of you and your neighbors, that you're going to take the time to overcome this. But as you're going through it, it might affect other people. So you want to make sure that you're taking ownership by apologizing of having played even the smallest or the biggest roles of what has transpired. If your mood affects someone negatively, apologize and clarify that it's not their fault, and also that it's not your intention to hurt them. It's never our intention, especially with those that we love. This one here, number 7, respect boundaries, other people's boundaries, just as you would expect them to respect your boundaries. You want to make sure that you acknowledge and sometimes validate when others need space due to your mood, and respect their need for distance. If you're having a conversation and they need to walk away, that is a very clear boundary that they're walking away from, and they're letting you know, no thank you, I need some time and space right now from your energy and from who you're being right now, which is not who you are. Who you're being is the program, and who you are is who you truly are, that authentic self that has no limits and loves themselves unconditionally, and the world is full of conditions. Number 8, focus on positivity. Share positive moments or engage in activities that bring joy to uplift the emotional atmosphere. So if you are in the space and the place to do that, like I said, this is where maybe you can bring music in. And you're in a foul mood or woke up in a foul mood, turning music on and trying to spread positivity with everyone as you're feeling a certain way. So that's another thing that you can do. Number 9, seek professional help. Consult therapists or seek professional support or coaches to help you, because they can't manage your emotions. They can only help you to manage your emotions effectively and help you to understand your emotions and your triggers, and most importantly, your blocks. Because when you start to understand your blocks, the blocks are literally they're the walls that are all around you that are blocking you and preventing you from your potential, from what it is that you are trying to reach and achieve in your life. And when you start to understand these blocks, you get to rearrange them in the way that you actually want to. And those blocks are your deeply ingrained programs as well. And I'm actually working on putting something together for the new year, for February. I'm going to mention it as much as I can to let you ladies know a little bit each and every time what I'm putting together. And it's going to be a 6-week program that I'm going to be launching February 14th that will help you to really hone in, and it's going to be in the group setting, it really hone in and work through all of those blocks by first understanding them and then starting to heal them and rewrite them in a way that is more authentic to you. And in this whole entire process, you will start to understand more of who you are versus who you're being. So number 10 is create safe spaces. Encourage loved ones to communicate their feelings about your mood. You want to open up the door and let them know, come and let me know how my mood has affected you. So you can also understand a little bit more of them. And at the same time, you will open up the floor for you to express yourself and why you're in that mood, to help them understand a little bit more of yourself, which will in turn, it will help you to create a safe space and more of an open space to have those kind of conversations and dialogues with people who are important to you in your life. Because in reality, this is what we all want. We want our partners and our family and friends to be someone who hears us, who understands us, who's supporting, who is there for us, who is a cheerleader, and at the same time can call us on our bullshit and can remind us of who we are and also who we're being right now, and that's not who we are. So that way we can grow and evolve and build a life together. And in order for that to happen, we need to be open and honest and have these kind of uncomfortable conversations that eventually become very empowering conversations. Anything that we do for the first, I don't know, a few, couple, or 100 times feels uncomfortable. But before you know it, we become very comfortable with it and we almost seek it out, and we need it becomes a safe space, and we need to have those kind of dialogues. Number 11, the last one, work on coping strategies. Develop coping mechanisms that help regulate your emotions and prevent their sleepover into others. So figure out what are the things that can help you to get your shit together. And after you figure that out, use them and apply them. Don't wait for things to feel better before you start applying or trying something. Do that right away. You feel a trigger, you're going to respond right away. Another imagery that comes to mind is that if you are in a kitchen and you're chopping carrots and by accident you cut your finger off, are you going to wait until the bleeding stops to do anything about it, or are you going to address that right away? Most of you are going to address it right away. Or all of you are probably going to address it right away. You're not going to ignore it. You're not going to put a band-aid on it. You're going to deal with it right away in the way that you know how to. Now, when you're feeling triggered, it is actually not very different from when you cut off your finger. That trigger, the only difference is that your translator, your brain, has not been connected to your heart in order for you to help you fully understand, not just your heart, but your whole entire body, to fully understand what you need to do, how you need to address this issue right now, because you're not even fully understanding what part of you has felt the cutting of the finger or they cut off from the rest of you. And the only way to get there is to start tuning into your body and understanding how your body is communicating with you, and understanding your blocks, your triggers, those buttons that get pushed once in a while and bring you right back down to the shitty hole that you don't want to be in. Understanding those and understanding what your options are is how you start to have the know-how of what to do when you feel this way. Because when you feel a certain way, it is one of your triggers or one of your blocks that has come to the surface. And if you don't know what you don't know, how do you know what to do with it? So if you don't know what block that is that you're dealing with right now, how are you going to overcome it? Because if you don't know what it is, you're not going to know what to do with it. If you don't know what button was pushed or why it was pushed, understanding the button, how are you going to be able to disengage it? You've watched movies about bombs and people trying to defuse the bomb. When it comes to defusing a bomb, if you pull the wrong trigger, guess what happens? The bomb goes off right away, or it shortens the time and it becomes that much more painful. But if you know exactly what wire to pull out to defuse the trigger, to defuse the whole entire bomb, that trigger, that button that you have within you, that you put there unconsciously, by the way, you will not have it anymore. And nobody will be able to push it because you have gotten rid of it and it is no longer there, it is no longer present. But in order for you to get there, you need to know what it is, what kind of a bomb it is, and sometimes maybe pull out a few triggers until you get to the right one, which meaning sometimes some of these buttons are so deeply rooted that just because you pull one does not mean that that's it, it's diffused. And that means that the next time you get triggered, you'll have less triggers, less of those wires to pull out from this bomb, so it no longer is activated. And that is just a little bit of our triggers and blocks that prevent us from living the life that we actually want to be living. Let me see. I just want to go over a couple of comments on here. Rebecca said, I know his family is very inauthentic and phony, so I can imagine he was taught to suppress his emotions as a sign of strength. You know how many people were raised that way and are that way now? More than you can probably imagine. So many people in ways that it really prevents them from living a happy life. Because happiness, and it kind of goes in line with feeling free, it comes from you being yourself and not giving a fuck about anyone else, but in the empathetic and loving way. And it comes from also knowing and understanding that love is all there is. And the reason why you feel anger, hatred, envy, or feel like a victim where you feel things are happening to you, it is all because you feel an absence of love. That you don't feel love in you right now. Because when you do, nothing can get in unless it is love. And even then, when things that try to get in, your love is so much more powerful that it helps the other person. And another way to explain it, to help you understand a little bit more of, love versus everything else, because love is all there is when we think about light and dark, is that interestingly enough, I haven't heard of any studies being done on studying the darkness. But there are a lot of studies that are studying the light. And that goes to say that darkness does not exist, because darkness is just a reminder of that there is no light there, the absence of light. So light is all there is, love is all there is. So when we don't feel love, when we feel the catabolic energies and we feel like crap, it is because there is love missing right now. Peggy said, hey Peggy, how are you doing? You asked me once why I had gone to the woods to cry, and this was part of it. I didn't want my darkness to affect my family that random and otherwise peaceful Saturday morning. That is beautiful, because sometimes, this is when I was talking about even taking a bath, sometimes we need some time to just work on ourselves and understand what that dark part of us. We need to take ourselves out of that equation and go to the forest. If you're not able to take a bath, or just go for a walk, not asking for permission, but letting people know that you're just gonna go for a walk. And you don't entirely need to let them know the full extent of it, or simply just letting them know that I don't feel like myself right now, because that is the truth. I don't feel like myself right now, so I feel like right now what I need is to go for a walk, to find myself again, to feel like myself. And when I feel like myself, I will be back, without even giving a timestamp. Like I said, some people in your life might need that timestamp, and if they do, you can let them know that right now maybe this is one of the things that might be crossing your boundary, where you don't know how long you're gonna need. So please just let me figure out even how long I would need for something like that. And then Rebecca said, I still struggle, but then I realized that I have let someone else's emotions have power over me, so I overcome. That is awesome, that you recognize that it's somebody else's energy invaded yours, and overcoming it in the ways that you do, letting it go and not allowing that to become you. And Rebecca says, I am the most powerful because I have been to hell and survived. I love that reel you shared with me, Yana. Oh yeah, I said on Instagram, I sent that one to you, because it's true. Some of us, we become the most powerful teachers because we consciously or unconsciously, most of it is unconscious, we seek out and overcome hard things, and we learn from them so we can share that with others and help others with it, with our wisdom and knowledge through that experience. And Rebecca said, yes, that's what I have to do. Just go to the restroom. I have to ask if I can go alone, please, without her crying at the door. Word police here. Don't ask, tell. Because when you ask for permission, you're giving the other person the opportunity to say no to you. And that is the good girl in you. That is, please, kind sir, let me have some water and bread. Instead, water and bread, please. Me hungry right here. Give me some. Assertively. Without getting angry, without getting upset, but owning yourself and claiming your space, and not asking for permission, but stating your needs and your desires and your wants sometimes. And then Rebecca says, I rise above the BS at the moment, but have a hard time not staying bitter. I want to say, how do I put it? I see how aware you are, that you recognize who you're being, and understanding the skill you want to practice. And I call it a skill because I feel like almost everything that we do is in a way a skill. Confidence is a skill. Not allowing things in and not being bitter or staying bitter is a skill. And what would be the opposite for you? If you got to choose, this is your experience right now, and you're feeling bitter, what would be the opposite of bitterness to you, Rebecca? And then Peggy said, I'm learning how important it is that I greet my own thoughts with great compassion because I am experiencing these thoughts. Yeah, that is powerful. Being compassionate to yourself and accepting yourself. Accepting yourself where you are without feeling inadequate and without telling yourself what you should be doing or could be doing instead is definitely important. And then Marlena said, what if it's your partner? I'm not sure, this was about 28 minutes ago, so I'm not sure which one that was exactly related to what I was saying about, or what I was talking about, that what if it was your partner. Let's say if you were talking about what if it was your partner that triggered you, then it's important to have that conversation so they get to understand your trigger and you get to express your trigger as well. And then Marlene said, oh yes, it's so hard to open up to others. Yeah, it is. And also it's hard to open up to our partners, especially because we want them to see us in the best of light. We want them to love us, and we fear that when we show them or express who we truly are, we fear rejection from them, and that is very often why a lot of relationships end up failing, because there is a lot of unauthenticity. And that is also felt. We can sense when someone is trying to be someone that they're actually not. And then Marlena said, do I do mentoring? The way that I actually do mentoring is through these videos, these podcasts. That's how I do mentoring. And then other than that, I do coaching, one-on-one. The spots are very limited. I only have one spot for the next year, and then the group coaching that I am planning on starting in February, and then I'll figure out how I'm gonna continue doing that type of group coaching. But that's how I mentor, which is more so coaching, but mentoring comes through these videos, these conversations, and within reason, through Messenger, I can help out here and there a little bit because I don't want to take away from the paying clients as well, right? Because we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have a business or a career or a job, and we all have a house to take care of, kids to take care of, probably a zoo a lot of us have to take care of. I know I have a zoo to take care of, and then plus ourselves as well. So managing time. And then Peggy says to Marlena that it's very brave when we open up to others. It definitely is very brave. Bravery, if we weren't scared, then we wouldn't have to be brave. It wouldn't be called bravery. It's only bravery when we're scared and we do it anyways. So if you're scared and you're doing it, then you're actually being brave. But if you're scared and you're not doing it, then you're just being scared. And more often, I think this is where you would end up being and becoming more of a victim, which is level 1 energy, and that is the lowest of the energies. And if we speak in the language of chakras, that would be your root chakra. You go right in there, and in the negative, darkest kind of way. And then Peggy said, oh yeah, you can not push my buttons because I no longer have any buttons. Bahahaha. Yes, please, I want to reach that level of awareness. Awesome. And I'm glad that you don't have any more buttons, but I would still question that there might be some buttons that people can find and uncover and find and help you uncover and overcome. They might be very, very like tiny little buttons, but I feel like most of us, even the monks, can have some buttons left, because each and every button is an opportunity to become a master of yourself and of your life. So there might still be some buttons, but they might not be as energetically charged because you have all the tools that you need to work through them and understand them and overcome them. And it's because, oh, I definitely still have my buttons. Yeah, some of them are good buttons. I feel it's the right time to say that all the buttons are good. It's just how we view them, because every button is an opportunity, like I said, to become the best and the highest version of ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. And then Rebecca says, in my case, it was the opposite. Our problems started because I started being authentic. Your authenticity might be triggering the other person's unauthenticity, because most people wearing a lot of masks and trying to be someone for everyone, and you being yourself is the very thing that will trigger a lot of people in your life. And this is how can you tell that when you're being authentic, is that all the people in your life who are not are triggered, and they let you know that you're triggering them, that you being you is making them feel bad because they're not being themselves, or they start to leave, where you start to lose people, friends, connections, because they are starting to feel insignificant or insecure, and they don't want to feel that way. So that is a clear sign that you're growing and getting closer to the best version of yourself, and that you're on the right path, because others are letting you know by trying to bring you down to their level. Don't let them, but recognize it and allow them to start recognizing that within themselves, and let them figure out what they want to do with it on their own. If they need help or guidance, they know you're there and you will help them. But until they're ready, they're going to throw all the different temper tantrums they possibly can to bring you down, to get your attention, and to, in a way, limit you from reaching your highest self. But it is also an opportunity for you to then recognize, I know they need some work, as we all do, but an opportunity for you. What's in this for you? What are they being triggered by? And they will let you know through their language, whether body language or actual words, and you take that in a way of, okay, this is what I want to now become stronger in. If they don't like you speaking your truth, you're not going to stay quiet. You're going to find healthier and more powerful ways to express your truth. You're going to do the very thing that they're telling you not to do. Because it's like the teacher tells you, do your homework. You're going to go do your homework. But this is the teacher that's coming in a way that doesn't feel nice. So instead of hiding from what they're telling you that they don't like, you're going to embrace it and hear it as this is now my lesson, and I want to become stronger in that area, because they have just pointed out to me that I am already becoming stronger in it, and now I want to be doing more and more and more, but to become stronger in this area, in this skill. So, food for thought. That is all that I have for you guys for today. I hope this one was a great video podcast for you all, and if you enjoyed it, please invite your friends to come check it out. I'm going to be uploading it also on my Get Your Shit Together with Yana Kasperczak podcast platform, which I haven't set it up for all the podcast platforms. For now, it's mostly on Spotify, but soon it'll be available on all of them. And then that way you can share the actual podcast with anyone that you want. The more that this kind of knowledge and wisdom and education we share with others, the more people can learn from it and start to overcome that limited self that is them right now, that is us. And that also goes for me. I continue to do the work on myself because I know this is something I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Becoming the best version of myself and mastering myself in all the areas where my teachers are telling me this is what I gotta do now. All of them haters, they actually don't hate you. They love you. They just hate that part of themselves that you're bringing up in them that makes them feel less than they want to feel of themselves. So, enough said. Thank you very much. I will be live next Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time again for another one of these Get Your Shit Together with Yana Kasperczak, myself. And other than that, I will see you guys throughout the weekend in the group, where I'll continue sharing a little bit of posts here and there to share a little bit of other people's knowledges and wisdoms, as well as my own. And feel free sharing yours as well. Other than that, until next time, bye everybody. Thanks for being on here, all of you awesome ladies. Until next time we see each other.